So let's delve into that. Um, so it turns out that the relationship between weight and health can be captured in a crude but I think quite initially probative way by thinking about a U-shaped curve, where, to many people's surprise, people who are in the quote unquote overweight category of the BMI charts are going to have the lowest mortality risk, statistically speaking, on average. So that's right. People who are in quote unquote overweight bodies have the greatest longevity, again, statistically speaking. And people who are in the even moderately obese category, so sort of this part of the curve, and people who are in the quote unquote normal weight category have statistically indistinguishable mortality risks. So even being moderately obese doesn't increase mortality risks, and being overweight appears to be at least correlated with increased longevity. Now, it is true that people who are either underweight or more than moderately obese, so whose weight is very much statistically unusual in terms of the number of people who fit those categories, because now we're talking about people who are in a fairly low percentage of the population, maybe 2% are underweight, maybe 10% are more than moderately obese. Those people do have greater mortality risks. But we have to ask, as the idea of being underweight immediately brings out, is this causation or mere correlation? Is it that being, for example, very fat drives increased mortality? Or is it that this is mere correlation because there's a lot going on once people are in statistically more unusual weight categories? For example, someone who is very fat faces inadequate health care, faces lower screenings for certain cancers, faces the stress of weight stigma, which has demonstrable effects on health, and also faces things like weight cycling, where they're being put on diets, losing weight, then, as we can get into, almost inevitably regaining that weight, and that can have an impact on people's metabolic health, their immune dysfunction, cardiovascular health, and again, mental health can be affected.